Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to the channel, and as always, welcome to our coffee times. Today I'm here a little bit later than I wanted, but I'm here to give you a couple of book recommendations for spooky season for this October month.
It's coffee time.
So I've been meaning to put together a little list of 10 titles that maybe you would like to check out during spooky season, specifically for the month of October. So as always, I tried to make this list as mixed as possible. We have a middle grade, we have YA, we have a little bit of thrillers, we have a little bit more of Gothic horror, some adult books, novella, and a compilation of short horror stories. I always want these recommendation videos to have as many possibilities and options as possible for all different types of horror readers. Me personally, I'm not gonna participate in any specific readathons during the month of October. I'm gonna try to focus to get to some books that I already own that I really want to read, and one of them is even included in this list, so if you want you can read it at the same time that I do. So let's go and check out those 10 titles. Let's start with some middle grade, and the first one, I know that you have seen me mentioning this book before, but it just got a sequel in the month of September, so I think it's gonna be perfect for people that have either not checked out the first book yet, or people that have checked it out and now they have the second book to get excited about. So that is The Haunting of Aveline Jones by Phil Hikes, which also has really cute illustrations. This is a middle grade, which can resonate to a lot of us because our main character Aveline, she loves spooky stories, she loves reading and books, and when she is kind of spending some time out with her mom in a new place, a new really teeny tiny small island, she finds this bookstore and starts to go through all of the books to discover some books about some hauntings. But not only that, she also discovers the diary of a young girl that used to live there before her. This is a spooky ghost hunting story based on a really small place by the sea. It has all the fall Halloween spooky vibes to it, so it's going to be perfect if you just want a spooky story that it's just not too intense. And as I mentioned before, the sequel just came out, The Bewitching of Aveline Jones, and in this case Aveline and her mom are going to visit a different place, and there Aveline is going to discover some witch stones and discover the past behind them. Root Magic by Edin. Royce just came out in January this year. This is one that I personally have on my own list of books that I really need to get to, and I wanted to mention this one because I think it's going to appeal to a lot of different readers, and it sounds a little bit more unique because this is a historical ghost story based on the 1960s in South Carolina. It is a story about courage, about friendship, and about black girl magic. We are in 1963 and we follow the character of Jess, and after her grandmother passes away, she relocates with her family. So she and her twin brother start at a new school, so they are like the new kids and they have to adapt. But not only that, Jess is really into African magic, and she discovers that there is some sort of secret related to her family and some secret powers that her family apparently has, and this just speaks to me in so many levels. I'm really excited about picking this one up myself. In the last middle grade that I would like to recommend you for Halloween night, it's one that is perfect because it actually takes place on Halloween night, and it is a book that I personally discovered this year and absolutely loved, and that is Monster Street Volume 2, The Halloweeners by J.H. Reynolds. And like I said, this takes place on Halloween night in a group of kids that dress up and go trick-or-treating, and they take the candy out of a house where there's rumors that a witch lives inside, and so the candy that they take is kind of cursed, and they end up turning into the monsters of their costumes. And will they be able to break the curse? If they are not able to do it, they will remain forever as these monsters. Let's move to our YA recommendations. So the first one is kind of like a mystery thriller horror book, and that is Harrow Lake by Kat Ellis. I really enjoyed this one. It is about Lola. She is the daughter of a filmmaker, a famous one, and one of his most famous movies is a slasher that took place on a town called Harrow Lake. So after Lola's father is attacked brutally in the middle of the city where they live, she is sent to her relatives to live in Harrow Lake. Now, Lola has never been really scared of anything. However, when she gets to Harrow Lake and she starts asking perhaps the wrong questions that people are uncomfortable to answer, and strange things start to happen around her, she realizes that there is perhaps a little bit more truth to the story of his dad's movie. Our next YA recommendation is again one that I personally want to check out, and this is one that is on my TBR pile for the month of October, so a spoiler for that. But this one is going to be perfect for people that love to, you know, read books that are also being adapted, because the Netflix movie is just coming out next week, and that is There Is Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This is a book I've always meant to read, and now that the movie is coming out on Netflix, I feel like I have to get to it because I really want to watch the movie. And all I know is that we follow Makani. She moves from Hawaii to Nebraska to live with her grandmother, where she starts to make new friends and even falls in love with a really strange guy called Ollie. But then all of a sudden her friends start to being murdered one by one and she doesn't know what's going on. So that is also all that I know. But I thought I would mention this one because the movie is coming out next week. So if anybody had it in their TBR piles, and if you're someone like me that loves to check out the book, if possible, before the movie, now it's the time to read it, especially if you already have it on your physical TBR pile or if you already got it for your Kindle and it's been sitting there for a while. And the last YA book that I would like to recommend you is one that just came out this year, and I have been obsessed with the cover and with the story, and I really need to get to that one myself as well, and that is The Taking of Jake Livingstone by Ryan Douglas. And this includes LGBTQ plus characters. We follow the story of Jake Livingstone, and he's one of the only black boys at St. Clair's Prep, and he's having trouble adapting as it is, and on top of that he's able to see the dead. So most of the dead that he's able to see, they're kind of spirits that are just, you know, completely harmless, are just kind of figuring out how to get to the other side. But then he comes across a really vengeful spirit. I am extremely excited about this book, and I just cannot wait to read it. And I thought if you guys had it on your TBR or on your wish list like I do, maybe now it's the perfect time for spooky season. Let's go to the adult recommendations, because October spooky season tends to be a little bit more about the atmosphere, and I'm also more in the mood of more Gothic stories and a little bit less of slashers, because I don't know, for Halloween you kind of have that haunted house feeling in the air. So I would like to recommend you Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This one is really atmospheric, it's really beautifully written, and if you still haven't got to it, I think that October would be the perfect month for this one. We follow the story of Noemi. Her sister married a guy that she's never met, and all of a sudden her sister sends her a letter asking for help. So Noemi packs her things and she goes to visit her sister and actually meet her husband for the very first time, and she gets to this mansion called the High Place, and she starts to realize that this family her sister has married into are a little bit more weird and complicated than she expected. And the type of atmosphere that this book has is kind of like your classic Gothic tales. When she's getting to this high place, I got some Dracula vibes because of, you know, the carriage getting to the palace kind of situation, but it has also a lot of different elements from other classics, and I just thought it was so well written. So if you're looking for your perfect moody atmospheric Gothic kind of story about family and heritage, and, you know, about investigating a family inside of their own palace, this one is going to be perfect for you. Let's go to a novella. I have The Last Night of October by Greg Chapman, and this one, even though it was not perfect, it is a great story to read for Halloween night, because this one also takes place on Halloween night, and I haven't heard too many people talking about this one, so maybe it's a novella that you guys do not have on your radar. So we have here an old guy, he's on his 70s, and he just despises Halloween. Whenever Halloween comes around, he locks himself inside of his house. He pretends he's not home, and he ignores all trick-or-treaters. But he also has a respiratory problem, so a nurse has to come to change his bottle so that he can breathe again. And the nurse comes too late on Halloween night, and she ends up opening the door to trick-or-treaters, and that is when, you know, all hell breaks loose inside the house of our 70-year-old man. And it is predictable at times, but I just still feel like it is a great story to read exactly on Halloween night. Moving on with another adult book that is also perfect if you love Gothic atmospheric tales, and that is A Darker Shade by Lara K. Curtis. And this one is for people that enjoy the vibes of movies like Crimson Peak or Mama. It follows a young woman that is desperate and really needs money, so she takes this job as a tutor for a young girl in a really isolated mansion. And when she gets there, she gets to meet Liza, that is the daughter that she's supposed to take care of. When Liza's mother died, Liza decided to go silent, and she has not spoken a word ever since. So of course, when our main character gets to this isolated mansion and gets to know Liza, strange things are going to start happening around the house. This is another one that could be predictable at times, because it does kind of follow the pattern of your classic Gothic stories, but it is again one of those really moody, atmospheric, kind of ghostly hunting stories. And if that's what you're looking for the Halloween season, this one might be perfect. And also, I never really hear many people talking about this one at all. I came across this one, I think, because I got it from NetGalley myself, so I feel like not many people know about this book. And if you love Gothic fiction, I think you will enjoy this. And to finish our recommendations, I would like to recommend you a book of short horror stories. This one is called Tiny Nightmares, a very short stories of horror, and this one compiles, I believe, a total of 40 different stories with some names that are really known in the horror community, like Stephen Graham Jones. And this has really interesting stories. You have a story about a heartbroken vampire, about a serial killer that drives or takes an Uber. You have stories of mind-reading witches, so there's going to be something for everybody, and they're so teeny tiny small that you can fit them throughout the month. So if you're somebody that don't have much time but you still want to read some spooky stories throughout the month of October, this might be a great fit for you. Alright you guys, so these are 10 recommendations for the spooky season for Halloween month. I hope that you found something here that you would like to add to your October TBR pile, or maybe I mentioned something that you forgot you had on your actual physical TBR, which is something that we can all relate to. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below, what are the things you're reading for Halloween? Are there any other books that fit perfectly for Halloween you would recommend me? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye!